cliques in teenagers' mind, causing them to become into martyrs. Over something as stupid as the loss of a little of weight. What kind of animals can we become when consuming drugs or allowing ourselves, our lives, to be controlled by that world? And at what level of consumption does usage of some drugs become a violent obsession? People lose conscience and their moral principles, just focusing on one thing, consuming and maintaining their addiction. And as Charles Darwin said, the strongest feature of difference between a human and animals is the moral sense or conscience. Lately, many different local crimes have happened, and many of them are related to drugs. So I'm going to talk first about the violent attack of a teenager occurred past February 19 in Satellite Beach. And then next I'm going to continue with the teenager's normal behavior and how it gets worse adding the substances. And I'm going to finish discussing a little of the consequences that it had. To begin, the Brevard County Sheriff Office has arrested 3 suspects responsible for the attack of a teenager, a Satellite Beach teenager. And a woman reported finding her 17 years old son, Daniel Vukovic, bleeding and crawling into the garage with severe head and face injuries. And these 3 teenagers, Dylan Thomas with 17 years old and the 18 years old Jessie Umberger and Rebecca Bataille, had been planning to kill her son for the past 4 weeks. According to the investigation, these 3 teenagers met the night before in the residence where Thomas and Umberger were staying to planning, and also Bataille was to drive her vehicle to the area of the victim's residence shortly before he would leave for school. And then Thomas would left the vehicle armed with a crowbar and then kill the victim. The investigators said that these 3 teenagers' motive was to kill this guy was because he has stolen weed from them, and they just decided. And also something that was relatable was that Umberger was like posting on Facebook and in social media that they were going to kill him, and it wasn't Facebook or that. And another thing is that she was not on it. It was not her weed and nothing. They just tell her, "Do you want to join us? We're going to kill that guy." And she said, "Okay, I will." It's just I don't know. And now both girls. Oh, this is the program. And both girls are already adults. Were remanded into custody without going to the Brevard County Jail complex, and Thomas is in the juvenile detention center. Okay, the next thing I want to share with you is the risk for dangerous behavior in teenagers that can increase with the abuse of alcohol and drugs. according to the article publicized in ABC newspaper, the teenager's brain is like a car with a good accelerator, but a weak brake. Making a metaphor of how powerful are the teenagers' impulses and how poor the control they have, and also that the result is always like a crash or perhaps a crime. And there are several studies that agree with the idea that adolescents under 18 years old are more likely to make the wrong decision. And that doesn't mean that they can't distinguish between what is wrong and right. They just act impulsively without understanding or thinking the consequences it has. And experts say that juveniles are more impulsive, aggressive. And I think, knowing all of this, like, I have acted many times impulsively with my parents or my teachers or my classmates. But I think there is a difference between talking without respect and maybe getting in trouble with it for that, than decide to get a stick or whatever you want to take to get and hit someone until he dies. And I think that is what happens when you are under the influence of that, of drugs. And also your classmate pressure is influenced with that, because it's not the same. Because I know people that they smoke and they never act like that, but they are older and they are more, how can I say, they are more responsible or okay. So that is that the behavior, the normal behavior adding the drugs, leads the teenagers to the most extreme cases. And finally, there are many consequences that teenagers may not realize that will affect their lives forever after an unfortunate impulsive moment. And according to the Juvenile Justice Bulletin, there are many different consequences, school-related, declining grade, not going to school or other activities, increase the potential of dropping out, and it also affects to the people that is around you. For example, when I was in high school, there was a guy that was very problematic and was always trying to call attention, and the teacher has specific days to give all the material that was going to be tested, and we couldn't, and we had to prepare by ourselves because the teacher didn't have enough time. Okay, and the most important for me, the health-related consequences, accidental injuries, physical disabilities. Okay. In conclusion, this recent violent attack is just an example of many that can occur because of teenagers' vulnerable behavior and the lack of recognition of all the consequences. And for real, I don't think that I should have compared those people with animals, because I think they are cute. And it's terrifying to think how our peers are capable of what they are under this when they are influenced by drugs or external things.